sure you can imagine the profanities that followed after that clip you just saw. Hi everyone, welcome back to MEC-TEC. As you would have just seen from that clip, the cab has taken on a bit of damage. Now before any of you say it, and it's karma that I smashed up the Cavalier into the Tesla, this actually happened in November, so it actually happened long before the Cavalier incident even occurred. So the two aren't karma related, if you like. So yeah, basically the cab's been rear-ended. We need to get it sorted out because it's due its overhaul very soon. So let's get it in the garage, get it stripped down, and obviously find out exactly what we're working with and get it sorted out. Now this guy wasn't insured, as I said in the, well, you would have seen in the thumbnail. He was from not England, I'm going to say, and he'd borrowed his friend's car and all he had on him was 70 quid. Now he gave me 70 quid, but it hasn't anywhere near covered the cost of the repairs. That's regardless. I could have reported it to the police, I could have done this, that and the other, but at the end of the day, you know what, it's just not worth the grief sometimes. It wasn't his car, so if I'd have reported the reg number, it would have been his mate who got done for it, and his mate wasn't anything to do with it as far as I could tell. So, you know, it is what it is. I know there's loads of different things I probably could have done, and I'll probably get a few comments saying, oh, you should have reported him, this, that and the other. I just couldn't be bothered with it. I just wanted to move on with my life. And, you know, anyway, I'm waffling. Let's get it in the garage, get this rear end repaired, because we need to get it sorted out before the overhaul is due in February. Right, with the cab now half in, don't realise how big the cab is in comparison to a three-wheel van. Ain't got a lot of room around the sides of it, I could just about get through the gap. Anyway, you should be able to see there's a dent, very slight dent. It runs from there along to the white plate. Now I'm going to have to get that done hopefully by a ding and dent specialist this week, and I'm hoping he's going to let me film it with any luck. You can see the reflection now of it. So that's that bit. We're not going to be looking at that today. What we're going to look at today is the rear bumper. Obviously has been hit there, or in the middle, and when you feel it along here, there is actually a very slight crack along that top edge. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the bumper off. I'll be able to show you the crack a little bit better then, because you can't see it because it's underneath that boot lid, and we're going to do the old hot staple repair from the rear of it to strengthen it up. And what I've actually got is a bit of a cheat, but obviously just so that they don't complain when it goes into the overhaul, I've got one of these, which is a load strip effectively, and that is going to sit over the crack. Bit of a cheat, I know, but I'm just going to try and let me put you down, and I'll get this laid on here and you'll be able to see what I mean. So basically this is going to lay on the top of the bumper like that, and it sticks on with double-sided tape. It will be something like that. Obviously it will be flatter and it will look a lot nicer, but it will be central because I've just laid it on there quick. But that will obviously cover up the very minor crack that's there to stop it from having any problems going through the overhaul. I know it's a bit of a bodge, but I don't fancy paying out 300 or 400 quid to have the bumper repaired and painted, or for a new bumper even. So I'm going to get this bumper off. We'll show you exactly where the crack is in it. It's sort of knitted itself back together, if that makes sense. So it's gone up in the air, like, well, if you can imagine that's the top of the bumper, it's gone like that, cracked, and then obviously come back down again, and as it's come back down it's sort of knitted itself back together again, so the crack is sort of smooth, if that makes sense. So I'll get this bumper off. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head how it comes off. I have had the bumper off my old cab. Let me just have a look inside here. I can't actually remember. Yeah, there's a bolt there where my finger is that holds it on. There's another one there, so there's two, one either side of the hinge. There's the same on this side, the two bolts there and there, one there, one there. Then in the arch you've got a little bolt going into this bracket, or screw I should say, and then I think underneath you've got a couple of clips, if I remember rightly. No, there isn't even a couple of clips under there, so I think that's all that actually holds it on, is those main 4 bolts at the top which run along under here, and the screws in the rear arch. So I'll get this off and we can have a proper look at it in more detail and in the light, and I'll show you exactly where the fixings are, just so you know for sure if you ever have to take the bumper off of a cab, you'll know where they are. So I'll come back to you when I've got this off. Rightio, with the bumper off, I'm hoping you're going to be able to see there is the crack. It runs from there around here and it ends about there, so it's very, very minor, hence why I don't really want to get the bumper painted and all the rest of it, and it is right underneath the boot lid. So that is the bit we're going to repair from the back with the old hot staples to hold it all together. And then the theory is we get this and stick it something like that, and then obviously that will, let me zoom you out, that will obviously sit on the rear bumper like that. We'll get it obviously as straight as we can, and hopefully that should look reasonably okay. We'll have to sort out which way around we're going to put it. Maybe that way around, that might look better. Yeah. And obviously then that will just sit on the bumper like that and look like that. So I know it's not ideal, but it's the cheapest and easiest way I can think of repairing it without anyone worrying about it, and it obviously hasn't got any sharp edges. The rear end of the car, as you can see, is still fine. The cross member is still fine. It might have a very, very slight bow in it, but I ain't worried about that. That's absolutely fine. Look at the amount of mud that came out of it when I took that bumper off. Just so you know, there are the 4 bolts along the top, which I showed you before. There are 2 self tappers, 1 in each arch, and then there are these brackets on the inside of the bumper, 1 each side, 1 13mm each side. So you've got 13mm each side, 4 10s across the back, and then 2 self tappers. That's all that holds the rear bumper on. Then that foam bit just sort of gets sandwiched in between the cross member and the rear bumper like that. I may even put a cable tie around that to hold it on, to make it a little bit easier to get it back on again after. So I'm going to get the old hot staple gun set up, and I'll come back to you when I'm ready to go. Right, with the bumper turned over, you can see that's exactly where the crack is there. So that is the bit we're going to be working on. I've got the old hot staple gun here, which is, just zoom you out, it's this thing here, and basically it takes these little wiggly staples. Hang on, I'm trying to get one out of the packet. Come on, there we go. And basically they just push into the end of there, and it effectively is like a soldering iron. It puts a high, obviously, power through it, heats up that staple mega hot, so it melts into the back of the plastic, and that is what will obviously keep it strong. I'll just show you. I'll do one here so you can see. You'll see a little bit of smoke where it melts in. Wait until it cools down a bit before you pull the gun off the staple, because otherwise you could pull it in there, pulling it back out again like that. That didn't melt in very well. I'm hoping this bumper can take this and be alright, because some plastics don't always work. It's quite a thick plastic, this, so I'm hoping I just didn't go deep enough. If it don't work, then we'll have to glue it. Oh god, it stinks. Right, there we go. That's in there now, nice and strong. Zoom you in so you can see. So you've got the two little prongs sticking out, obviously. You cut those off after. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go right the way along this crack with these staples. I've got some other shapes as well, because obviously this has got a bit of a curve to it here, so I may need to use a slightly curved one. These ones are the wiggly ones that we're going to hopefully use. I'm hoping that this plastic is going to be alright, because that is a little bit loose, one end of that. The middle of it's okay, but we shall see on that side of things. So I'm going to go right the way along there and see how we get on. Right, there we go, that is all the staples in there. They're not mega secure. I don't think this plastic is the type of plastic that can really be used with these. Some types of plastic melt in really nice and are very, very strong. Others like this are a different type and they're not melting in particularly nicely. I don't want to go too deep, because otherwise I will go through to the other side. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all those tangs off, and then I'm going to get some 2-part epoxy glue and actually run some of that over the top of it, which would obviously seal them in and hopefully make it a bit stronger as well. That's the theory. So I'm going to maybe get a scotch pad, just scotch up this area around it so it's got a bit of roughness to it. That will obviously give the glue good adhesion to the back of the bumper, rather than it being dead smooth and then just peeling off. And I'm hoping, with obviously having this rough bit in the middle with the pins in, with the staples in, that should do the job with any luck. So I'm going to cut all these off, and then I'll get some glue on the go and get it strong. Right, there we go. We'll let that dry for the next, well, it says 5 minutes on the pack, but we'll give it half hour just to make sure it goes off nice. Get a bit of heat on it, put the old fan blower on it or something like that, and hopefully that should be nice and strong. Then we can flip the bumper over and put that stone protector, or whatever you want to call it, load protector on the top of it, and it should be jobs are good one for that side of things. Top banana. Okay, I've had the fan heater on this for a good 20 minutes now. It's touch dry, it's a bit tacky, but it is going off nicely. Obviously I keyed that bumper up with the belt sander in the end, so it give it a nice key to stick to. Now this obviously trim that we're going to put on the top, I've looked at the back and it's very shiny, so what I'm going to do is just scuff that up a little bit with a scotch pad, just so it's got a bit of key to it, and then we're going to use some of this 3M VHB tape which I've got, hopefully that should stick it on there nicely. I know what you're thinking, well, if you're scuffing the bottom of this up, then why don't you scuff the top of the bumper up as well? But I don't really want to scuff the bumper up in case I ever have to take this off, and obviously it will leave it all manky. So I'm going to scuff this side up with something. I mean, it's quite sticky anyway, but just to give it something a bit extra, well, then we'll panel wipe it over. We'll panel wipe the bumper over while this is still sort of drying off. We can flip the bumper over, get this positioned in where I want it to go, stuck on, and hopefully then we can put the bumper back on. Lovely jubbly. Right, this is a very tricky one to get right because obviously the bumper's curved and the trim's not. It looks all over the place, to be honest with you, and I can't seem to get it any better. So I think I'm just going to have to go with it. I've tried to get these two corners as level as I can as far as the gap, and obviously the gap along the front, because that's the one you're going to see most. This bit of the back sort of throws you because it curves up and it curves that way as well. So I'm hoping once it's on there it should look okay. It's doing the job that it's supposed to be doing, which is covering up that little crack that was there. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to go with it. I'm not mega happy with how it's come out, but I'd rather have that on there than fail the overhaul. So it is what it is, I'm afraid. It's an Amazon special, and I bought better tape for it because it came with this little piddly roll of tape, which I thought that's not going to last 5 seconds. So as you would have seen, I put plenty of tape on it so it shouldn't come off. I think the bumper is a little bit up and down as well, where it's obviously taken a bit of a whack, so it doesn't help the situation as far as making it look straight. So maybe when it gets back on the back of the cab, it might obviously straighten up a little bit because it will be resting and it'll be bolted on by those bolts at the back there. So I'm going to get this put back on and hope for the best. Well, it's on. I'm not a massive fan, if I'm honest. I think it looks a bit naff, just because it's the wrong shape for the bumper and I couldn't get it to fit any better than that. I've got it pretty central as far as I can tell, but it just looks a bit weird because these corners kick out, whereas the bumper obviously goes round. So I'm not mega happy with it, to be honest with you, but if it gets it through the overhaul, then I guess that's alright. I may have to revisit this in the future because I don't like the way it looks. I think it looks a bit naff. I thought about trimming the corners off, but then the problem is this has got like a tapered edge on it, so then you'd be left with like a hard edge, which I think would look even worse. So yeah, not a fail, but not particularly great at the same time. I suppose once you get a layer of dirt on it you probably won't see it. But yeah, jury's out on that one. I'm not mega impressed. The actual product is okay, it's just it don't fit on a curved bumper very well, if that makes sense. Just pulled the cab out on the drive just to have a look at it out in the light. It doesn't look so bad out in the light. I suppose if you wasn't really looking for it, it'd probably be okay. So we'll have to see, I guess. But because I'm obviously looking straight at it and I know it wasn't there before, and now I've put a trim on there and it looks a bit strange to me, but you know, it is what it is. I guess it's a workhorse, so hasn't got to be perfect. As long as it passes that test, that's all I'm worried about, and hopefully that should do that with any luck. So I guess we'll leave it on there for now, see what happens. We may have to revisit it in the future if I decide I'm not happy with it, but out in the light it doesn't look too horrendous. It's not great, but not horrendous. So now all we've got to do is try and sort out the dent in the boot lid there, which obviously, as I said earlier in the video, I need to get a ding and dent specialist on that, and I have been in contact with one. I'm just waiting for him to come back to me to see whether he'll let me film it or not. So whether he does or whether he doesn't, obviously you'll see the result after. I've shown you the dent earlier in the video, so let's hopefully get that sorted out, and then I'll show you either the video of him or time lapse of him doing it next, or I'll show you it done, one of the two. So there we go. Good morning everybody. I am absolutely cream crackered. It is currently Thursday morning at 8:56. I've managed to get the boot lid off the back of the cab, and it's in the back of the C1. Who knew, eh, that a cab boot lid would fit in the back of a little C1. And we are on our way to epping to a guy called Aaron at DENTFX. Now he's going to have a look at the boot lid for us and hopefully work his magic on getting this dent out for me. He's pretty confident he can. I've sent him a video of it, so he knows exactly what he's got to deal with. And the reason we're going to him in particular is because the boot lid needs to be on a stand to be worked on, because the way that it opens on the cab, it flips downwards. You can't actually work on it with it open, if that makes sense, so it needs to be taken off and put on a stand. So we're going to head down there now. I won't waffle on now, and I'll come back to you when we get there, and I'll show you, obviously, hopefully a little bit of a sort of insight of what he's going to do and how he's going to do it with any luck. So I'll come back to you in a bit. Right, we're here at DENTFX. This is Aaron, hopefully you can see him on the camera. His nice van there with all the logos all over it, and he's going to have a go at sorting out dent on the cab boot. He's made me a coffee already, so that's absolutely superb. Yeah, that's good service, yeah. So obviously I'll cut in and out and just show you bits and bobs of what's going on. What do you reckon the first thing you're going to do, just roughly? Or what tools are you...
Yeah, I mean, like, first really is just analysing the damage.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you showed me the videos, but like we've got there, you've got a high spot there, let me get the line.
Oh yeah, I see it, yeah. It's got very good lighting in here. I wish I had, well yeah, you see it now. I wish I had this sort of lighting in my garage. Cool.
Yeah, so you see on there.
Oh yeah, I see, yeah.
So you got a high spot there.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at the panel, you got a high spot there, and that's clearly where something's hit that. And then
from the inside
there's something there, which is looking at the bracket. It's clearly the bolt for the bracket.
Gotcha.
So really, it might be wise to take the bolt out, because if you tap that down, you essentially you essentially
might end up hitting it.
Tapping. Well, you're sort of tapping against the bolt.
Gotcha.
And you're going to end up sort of stretching it around like that. It's almost like shaping it around.
Like mushrooming it.
Yeah, you're sort of,
Gotcha.
Yeah, and the same there. If you see on the side. You see, you got high spots, all like you've got a high line all down there.
Oh, I see. Where it's hit the that's where the lip is on the edge,
where that skin folds round.
Yeah.
And it's basically just hit against that skin, and because there's nowhere for this metal to go, it's just going to shape around there.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, it looks pretty open.
Cool. It's quite good. That's how the cab is. There's not even any panels inside it. It's so basic. It's untrue.
Yeah, I mean it looks pretty open, but you've got this. So you see, like you've got in here. You've got a double skin around there, around that.
Oh yeah. I see. Yeah.
There, you've got like that's a double skin.
Gotcha.
Obviously,
where the hinges.
Yeah, because otherwise, if you shut the boot, it'll fold the tailgate in half. Yeah. So we might be able to squeeze down there.
Okay.
But like you say, it's got good access to it.
Yeah. I mean, if it's not, I just want it to get. If it's 99 or 95% perfect, even it would be good, because I just want to get it through this test, you know. So
yeah, I think strap it down. I might take that out just to be safe.
Yeah. Was it Allen-headed bolts?
Yeah,
I actually took this off the cab this morning, so I quickly whipped it off.
Yeah, because like I don't know, the bolt goes that way. Yeah, so it's probably hit the plate actually. Oh no, that might be alright.
Might be alright. Yeah, it goes the other way, doesn't it? Yeah.
See, that's hit that plate.
Or the edge of that hinge, even if it's popped in and popped back out again.
That's
I think those bolts are countersunk on those hinges, so I don't know whether they move as such, but
we'll see.
Yeah, right, okay, well let Aaron start this process and I'll cut in and out as we go along. Right, the first tool in the arsenal is this.
Yeah, so this is Glexo cold glue.
Glexo cold glue, okay.
But warm it up first.
It almost looks like
look, now it's starting to stick to my finger.
Oh yeah, I see, yeah. So Aaron was saying it's like the stuff that they glue on the inner membranes of the doors.
Yeah, like Hondas and stuff like that, but it's not.
Yeah.
So yeah, once
it's just more expensive.
yeah, it's just about 10 times the price.
Yeah.
But yeah, once it's sort of warmed up. So yeah, the way it works. So you see, like if I pull a bit slowly.
Yeah. Oh, it just stretches. But
yeah.
I suppose if you pull it fast, so it's.
But when you pull it fast, like on the slide hammer.
Oh yeah, I see. So it's got enough.
It basically, it's not suction. Everyone says, "Oh, is it suction?" It's not suction. It's just sort of, I don't know.
It's almost like that stuff where you hit it hard and it goes into a solid almost.
Yeah, I can't remember the word.
No, I know what you mean.
Like quicksand. You know, it's sort of like the opposite to the opposite to quicksand.
I know,
if you do it fast,
it's all right. Yeah.
But it'll kind of act. So when you've got like shallows.
Oh yeah.
You see how strong?
Cool, yeah. Didn't even move.
But look, but if you pull it slowly.
Oh, I see. You can peel it off. Yeah, that's really good, isn't it? I like that.
But it's more.
I can see that. I can see that's come out already.
So look, let's pull it. It pulls up the shallows. It's not as strong.
But it saves you having to keep gluing them pads on every time and.
Well, what it does, it doesn't pull it too hard.
Yeah.
So you know you're not going to overpull it.
Superb.
So it's kind of lifting it up. Because when you're pushing it with small little
yeah, see it coming out, yeah.
Yeah, it's more sort of like any soft sort of shallowish damage. Because it's pulling a bigger surface area.
Yeah.
It's not,
you're not going to like high
distort it or nothing. But then obviously because it's a bigger surface area, it's got there isn't really much control. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't pinpoint it down. It's just to loosen it up, really.
You can see it doing it though. You can see it moving, working it out. And you don't get any high spots with that, I suppose, either, do you? Because it's over a wider area.
Yeah, but it's just to reduce.
Get a bit of stiffness back in the panel again, yeah. That's mega.
Because if there's pressure locked in there, when you start pushing around with a little tool,
yeah.
If there's too much pressure, all you're going to do is just keep
you get that, end up loads of end up loads of outward dents, I suppose. Yeah, that's really good. I can see the difference already. That's amazing.
And that's the thing with a lot of this stuff. Like the tools are expensive, but they save you.
They work well. Yeah.
So we'll address that.
That's really good.
Because that's quite high there. Excuse that. That's only just to.
No, that's all right. Well, I'll come back to you in a bit. In a minute.
That's only just to reduce it down.
Or what the spray you mean?
No, I'm saying the polishing. I didn't.
Oh yeah. No, that's all right. Yeah.
Didn't go crazy, but I'll do that after.
Right, I'll come back to you in a little while when we've made a bit more progress. Moving on to a new tool now. What's that called, Darren?
Yeah, so this is ultra. This is, to be fair, it's my favourite tool. It's pretty versatile for pretty much everything. But these are ultra dent tools, double bend. So it's got double bend, so you've got leverage there.
Yeah.
And you've also got leverage there if you need it.
Gotcha.
But it kind of gives it extra strength as well.
That's superb.
And they've got adjustable tips.
Gotcha.
So really.
So if you need like a real fine one, you can sort of change it.
Yeah, so it's like it's a bit more versatile. Whereas like you see some of these tools have only got.
Oh, they're just sort of fixed.
You know what I mean? Whereas that.
You can change it over.
Yeah, and it's like it's 5/16, I think it is.
Oh, okay.
It's old
from America, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, America, yeah. I don't know why they can't use metric, but yeah. So like that's a rubber tip.
Yeah.
So it's got quite a lot of power to it, but it is quite soft.
Won't sort of.
So kind of start off with that.
Won't cause any dents.
Yeah, start off with a bolt, and then I kind of tend to use these.
Oh yeah.
Again, that's a rubber tip there.
Yeah.
And then that one's a hard plastic.
Gotcha.
And just kind of work your way down, and then you can end up. They've got metal tips like that.
Oh, you've got a real point on them, yeah.
So that's quite a thing, and then you can, if you've got really fine detail, then you can use the sharp tip.
Cool, yeah, that's mega sharp, that one, isn't it? Yeah.
So that's a bit dangerous though, really. That's more, more for sharp one.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all different, and they all serve the same purpose. But like this has got completely flat tip.
Is that for more sort of a broader dent?
But that's better for tapping down. So like that's good because you're tapping on a flat surface.
Right. Yeah, gotcha.
Whereas when you're tapping down with something like that,
it's quite a point.
Even though you've got a lot more control over it.
Yeah.
You kind of it's a bit risky and damaging the paint.
Gotcha.
Whereas that's gonna even like distribute the sort of
spread the load slightly. Yeah. Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The process is quite the same generally all round, but it's just how you sort of approach it.
Yeah. Hope people find this. I find this fascinating.
I've had all these tools converted. So like with this, I've had all these cut off.
All right.
And this special tool, this is just because it's adjustable.
Oh, I see.
So I can use. So again, I've got many different
handle
uses.
on all them different ones over there.
Yeah, and I can change the handle.
Gotcha. Oh, I see.
So
yeah.
before it had a handle like this.
Oh, it's just fixed on there. I see. Yeah.
But then the problem is if you're stuck in the door like that, and you're sort of like this.
Oh, I see. You can't get the leverage on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go or like that or whatever.
Yeah.
So with that, at least you can adjust it.
Gotcha.
Or you can use it for twisting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Definitely.
that.
Yeah.
You
So
can use that for pushing like that.
Gotcha.
But if you use it to the side,
then you can go up and down.
you can use it for twisting like that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
one
One with it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
But the
cool.
problem is with a lot of tools, it's sort of you always need one that's a little bit longer,
Yeah.
a little bit shorter,
Yeah.
a little bit more.
There's always, yeah. There's always something you need different to what you got. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. That's mega. Start watching a craftsman here, guys and I should say guys and girls, I should say, because there's probably hopefully a few girls watching as well. They're into cars. You see, he's obviously inside the panel, and you see it flexing actually as he's doing it. It's a good process to watch actually, because I just find it interesting that how it works, you know.
Yeah, see, that's quite a soft tip. So it's more again like with the cold glue, it's just kind of trying to get the best of the bulk out, really.
Yeah.
Because it's quite. Problem is where it's on that skin, it is quite strong on that edge.
Yeah, because it's near that clinch flange on the edge, isn't it? Yeah. Right, I'll let Aaron carry on doing this, and I'll come back to you again in a minute. Just show you here, we've got some glue on the go now with these yellow tabs on the middle there.
Yeah, that's hot melt glue.
And it's got a little puller there, which that hooks onto those pads, does it? Oh, I see.
So that'll slide through there.
Gotcha, yeah. And you can sort of control it from that.
Adjust the tension first.
That's good the way it's you can ratchet the handle around as well. Oh, I see, yeah. See that?
Yeah, and because it's got these big feet, it distributes it's distributing the metal out.
Yeah.
Rather than just pulling it, because again, the old pullers, just 2 little feet, and you end up you
two dents either side, yeah.
pressure, yeah, and then you think you repair them, and then you think you've got another 2 dents on the other side, and you think, okay.
Yeah, no, you might end up making it worse for yourself, yeah.
So by having one dent, you've got like about 10 little tiny ones all in a line.
No. Yeah, those pads are nice and spread the load nice, don't they? Yeah.
Again, it's just
There's definitely a lot of skill and a lot of process involved in this. It's not as simple as it looks. That's good stuff, isn't it? I like that. So what is in that?
well, it's just alcohol.
Oh, is it? Oh, it just releases the glue. Those other two stayed proper on there, didn't they? Those ones. You don't want to come off. It's softening up. I can see
Yeah,
it.
they're just warm.
Does that alcohol just soften the glue? Does it?
Yeah, it's like a releasing agent.
Yeah. I can smell it now.
Yeah,
Smell
when
the
it's
alcohol.
cold, it's done. Nothing seems to want to work.
Yeah, Aaron's been using the heat gun to keep the panel sort of a little bit warm, so that obviously the paint doesn't crack, and also the metal reacts better to what he's doing. So, in case you're wondering why. Mega. Right, after many hours, and he's still got his hair, and so that's all right. He's not pulled his hair out.
It's gone completely grey.
Yeah, He's done a mega job. Look at that.
Yeah, just a bit tricky around the handle, really.
No dent there at all. I think that's absolutely superb. Before, you could see on the edge of this plate, you could see it was dented underneath it, and now that's obviously had that plate off and it's gone. Yeah, a little, as you just said, a little bit of an issue around this hinge plate because there's a strengthening double. I'm not even showing it on the camera. Yeah, there's a double strengthening skin underneath there, and there's like 2 bits that were outward there, but basically it's disappeared. It's really, really good. Look at that. No dent. I think the old TFL inspectors will be more than happy with that. I bet it's better than half the cabs that go in there. Hopefully it is anyway. So there you go. That is mega. Just look at all these tools that he's got every single tool out on the bench here to get this right. And I apologise for it taking so long, but yeah, we've been chatting and coffee and all the rest of it. Yeah, we've got all these special lights that with the lines in to show where the dents are and everything else. It's got all these special. Look at these hammers are like a work of art. They look Are they Japanese? They look Japanese.
No, they're all carbon. I don't need them. But I do.
You don't need them, but you do. Oh yeah. God, it's really light. I was expecting that to be really heavy. Yeah.
So that's for blending. That's because hasn't got as much. You haven't got as much weight behind.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
Whereas that one.
Is that a bit heavier? Oh yeah.
That's stainless steel.
Yeah.
Whereas that's aluminium.
Gotcha.
So it hasn't got that much weight.
That's superb.
That's a bit too. That's why my wrist is. It's a bit.
Yeah, that would definitely do it.
This is nice as well, but that's more for tapping down.
Superb.
That's a new one. That's got adjustable handles as well.
Oh yeah, to make it longer or shorter. That's good, isn't it? Won't fit on your pegs now. You've turned it around.
And then these come off as well.
Is that magnetic?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Just so you can change the tips.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. I do like that, but the problem is what you get used to. What you that is a. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Swap it round. There you go. Swap it there. So there they go.
This is my old hammer, which I really like, but that's all that's aluminium. But it's
got screwing tips as well, is it?
I got used to that.
Yeah.
And then I've got a new hammer, thinking, oh yeah, I'll use that one. But that slight difference in weight makes so much difference.
Yeah. Yeah. So now you're still favouring the old one, are you?
Yeah.
But there we go. So yeah, he's mega. So that is that job done. Now all I've got to do is get it bolted back on the cab and don't dent it on the way home. No, don't say that.
Oh, yeah,
there we go.
I just slammed the brakes on.
Yeah, come through the windscreen. So DENTFX. So there you go. I've shown it in the video already. Does a mega job. It's based in what's this? Upper Epping, is it?
Epping, yeah.
Or Epping area in Essex. So yeah, there you go. That is where he's based. He's on Facebook. I'll put a link in the description of the video so you can see if you need any dents doing. And obviously he'll help you out. There we go. Top banana. Right, got the booted back home safe and sound, as you can see. Aaron's done an amazing job on that. There's no dent there at all now. It is really, really good. So now we just need to get it bolted back on the cab. So that is going to be the next job. I have to take the bumper back off again to get the booted off because the bolts, 4 bolts are behind where the bumper sits. So that was a bit of a pain, but still. Let's get this bolted back on and then we can get it all back together and looking like it should do again. Right, there we go. That's the back of the cab back together where it needs to be. Bumper is on, nice shiny boot lid's back on. Rest of the cab looks an absolute state, so I'm gonna have to sort that out and give it a good old clean and polish. But at least that is the rear end looking back how it should be again, and obviously hopefully it'll get through the overhaul okay. There's definitely no dent left in that boot lid. I can't believe how well he's got that out. It took him a long while, but it was a hard dent to do because the metal was so thick. He wasn't expecting it to be as thick as it is. So he's done a mega job of that. You just cannot see it at all. It's totally disappeared. Really good. So yeah, and obviously the bumper trim I put on, yeah, it's not ideal, but it is what it is. It's a workhorse at the end of the day, so it covers up a multitude of sins hopefully. So it doesn't look too bad, I suppose. I've shown Gemma and I've shown pictures of it to my dad and he said, it looks alright. I was like, okay, fair enough. So there we go. That is the rear end back together. Right then, that is going to be it for this episode of MEC-TEC. The back end of the cab is looking pretty much how it should be again now, apart from that extra bit of trim I put on. Got to say a massive thank you to Aaron at DENTFX for sorting out that boot lid for me. He has done a mega job. It looks absolutely like glass. It's perfect. So it's really, really good. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate that. So at least that's the rear end sorted out now. In the next video, we're going to be looking at the front end of the cab, and I won't spoil it, but you'll see when that video comes out in due course. Hopefully, fingers crossed, by the time these cab videos have all come out, the cab will have gotten through its test and it'll all be absolutely marvellous. But only time will tell on that side of things, so fingers crossed. So at least the back end sorted out. We've got some other jobs to do on the cab in future videos to get it through this test as well, so they will obviously be coming up as well. If you do like what you see, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the thumbs up, the notification bell. It's 3 things. It's all free. It really helps me out on the channel, gets the channel growing, and it obviously gives me a little boost as well, seeing your thumbs up and your comments and whatever else, and hopefully you're enjoying the videos. Really do appreciate it. And all that's left for me to say is, actually, if you want to see me on Instagram, it's MEC_TEC 1985, and if you want to see me on Facebook, it's MEC-TEC. I've got 2 pages on there for little sneak peeks. And all that's left for me to say is thank you very much for watching, and if you want to join me soon for more automotive adventures, I'll see you again next time. Cheers, guys.